everyone, so in today's video I'll show you how to do this smiley granny face tote bag, and you will need about 100 grams of background color double knit white yarn, 50 grams in this color for the circles, and a bit of black to stitch the smiles on. Then you will need 4mm hook, needle, and pair of scissors. So we will start with this granny square, starting with a circle and then moving up until we finish the border. So start with your middle color. I have my yellow yarn here and I'll do magic circle. So wrap it around your 2 fingers and make a X like that. Put your hook behind the first one and grab the second one strand. Once you've got your magic circle, chain 2. This will act as your first double crochet, and then do 11 double crochets inside. So to do a double crochet, you want to yarn over, go into the circle, grab your yarn and come back. You will have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And then you will repeat this 11 times, so you have 12 in total with this chain. So I now got 12 double crochets. I'm gonna pull this tail to close my magic circle, and I'm gonna slip stitch with our chain 2. So put your hook through those both loops if you can, grab your yarn and make a slip stitch. For a second round, we're gonna start with chain 2 again, which is our double crochet, and then we're gonna do 2 double crochet in each, or double increase. So we need another double crochet in that same stitch, and then another 2 in next, and this will make 24 double crochets for your second round. So continue doing this and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Once you've done your last 2 double crochets, join the same way you did into the second chain, which is here. Put your hook through both loops and slip stitch it together. There it is. And for a third round, we will start the same way by chaining 2, 1, 2, and then we will do double crochet increase in every other stitch. So we will have 1 here, we will do 2 in here. So yarn over, pull through 2 twice, do the same again, and then we will do only 1 in the next, then 2 again. So basically you will do double crochet, then double crochet increase, and so on, and you will have 36 stitches for your third round. So I'm now at the last stitch, and this is gonna be 2 double crochets because we started with 1. So I'm gonna do my 1 and then second one, but I'm not gonna pull through last 2 stitches. This is where I'm gonna insert my new color, so I can cut this off now, leaving a bit for hiding it. And I'm gonna grab my background color and just simply put it through those 2 loops. And as always, we're gonna go into second chain with a slip stitch to join it. It might be a bit difficult sometimes, but you can always leave them looser if you like. And then I'm gonna chain 2. This is our first double crochet, and I'm gonna do another one into that same stitch. And when you did those 2 double crochets, you're gonna chain 1 and do 2 double crochets in next stitch. There is 1 and the second one. This is gonna be our corner where this chain is, and then you're gonna do 2 half double crochets in next 2 stitches, so 1 in each. And to do half double crochet, you just basically do like double but pull through all 3 loops. Then we're gonna do 3 single crochets in next 3 stitches. So put your hook into the stitch, grab your yarn and pull through both loops. Once again, go into the stitch, grab your yarn and pull through both. And one more time. And then we're gonna do 2 half double crochets in the next 2 stitches again. So there's 1 and then a second one. And then you want to repeat the same thing you did here. So 2 half double crochets in 1 stitch. Chain 1. And then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So this is our corner space again. After you did your corner, you want to repeat the same thing, 2 half double crochets, 3 singles, 2 half double, and then your corner. Repeat that total of 3 times. So basically this part 3 more times, and I'll meet you at the end here. So I now only have corner to do and 1 row of stitches. So once again, for the corner, you want to do 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, chain 1, do 2 double crochets in next, that's 1 and 2, and then half double crochet, another half double crochet in next, then 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. That's 2 and 3, and I have 2 stitches left for 2 half double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. And to join this round, we're gonna slip stitch into that second chain. I always like to go through both loops. Pull that loop and do a slip stitch. Now we want to come into this corner space. So we're gonna do 2 slip stitches just to kind of make our way into the corner space. And this is where our 5th round will begin. So for our round 5, we're gonna chain 2, which again gonna be our double crochet. Then we're gonna make another one in that same space. We will chain 1 and we will do another 2 double crochets in that same space. So there's 1 and 2. And for this round, we will be doing double crochets into all stitches till we reach this chain space. So your first stitch will be here. You might have to pull those a bit to see your stitch, but I'm gonna start with this one and I'll do 11 double crochets. And when you reach your chain space, you're just gonna do another 2 double crochets, then you're gonna chain 1 and another 2 doubles into that same stitch. once again, just don't forget that your first stitch might be hiding here, and then you're gonna do 11 double crochets, including this one, up till you reach this chain space. Then again you will do corner, 2 doubles, chain and 2 doubles, again 11, corner in here, and you will finish with 11 double crochets. So I'll meet you to finish off this round. And I'm now at the end of my 5th and last round. This is my 2nd chain, and I am gonna go into that chain to slip stitch it. So pull your hook in and then grab a loop to join it. To finish off, chain 1 and now I'm gonna grab my needle and I will hide those tails in. And just simply weave in a couple of times back and forth. And I usually like to kind of hide this part where our rounds join, so it's not as much visible. And I think that's gonna be enough. Then I'm gonna hide this tail and I'll show you how to stitch the smile on. So this is how your granny should look like after you hide all the tails. And now it's time to stitch the smile on. I've got about 60 centimeters of black yarn and I'm gonna start with eyes. So I want to insert my needle from the back somewhere in between of that double crochet of the first round. So I'm just gonna put that in, leaving a bit of a tail, and then I'm gonna go where the 2nd and 3rd round meets, just above. And I like to go in twice, so I'm gonna go here again, so the eyes are kind of thicker. Then I want to make 2nd one, so I'll skip those 3 stitches and I will join it in here. I'm not the best explaining embroidering or sewing, so you might have better ways to do this, but this is how I do it. Just make sure those eyes are kind of symmetrical to each other. And repeat that once again if you want them thicker. This is how my eyes will look. For the smile, I'm gonna be using the same yarn because I don't mind my bag being messy, as I will be inserting lining. But for the smile, you want to kind of do half of the circle here. So it's in between round 2 and 3. So I'm just gonna put my needle from the back somewhere in between this, and I want to go 2 stitches below. So I'm just gonna insert my needle just to see how that looks, and then I want to make a vertical line here. So I'm just gonna put that in here and then next to it to kind of create the vertical bar for the smile. And then I'll continue with the line here. So I'm gonna insert my hook next to the stitch I made. I'll then gonna go in 2 stitches because otherwise it's not gonna shape the rounded line. And that's it until you reach the point symmetrical to this. So one more time. And lastly, to create the vertical bar. Don't worry of it not being perfect. Handmade things are never gonna be perfect, but this is how it should look and how I like to finish it. Basically, this is where my yarn tail started. So I just want to go in a couple of stitches until I meet the point where my tail is, but make sure that your needle doesn't show off on the right side, because if it does, then your yarn will be visible as well. So you want to make sure that it's not see-through, and just to kind of go there, and then I'm gonna tie a couple of knots and cut the yarn off. And that's it. When you're done, you will need to go ahead and make 18 of those squares, 9 granny squares for one side and 9 for the other. And you can either join them in lines of 6 or in vertical lines of 3, and then join the lines together to have that kind of panel for the bag. But I'm gonna join in the line and a vertical one, so make sure they're facing the same direction, and then fold it to be right sides in. And then we want to go into the back loops only. So the front loops are those that are facing inside, and these outside ones are our back loops. Grab your hook, the same one you used in your background yarn, and then you want to start off with the chain where the corner is. So I'm just gonna put through one loop each, insert my yarn, and chain one to secure it. And then you will be going into back loops of both granny squares and making slip stitches along the way until you reach your chain one for another corner. So keep doing this until you reach this stitch, and I'll show you how to finish it off. So this is how the wrong side looks, and I'm at the last stitch where it's chain for both granny squares. I'm gonna go into those chains, do a slip stitch, chain one, and then cut my yarn off. I'm gonna pull it through, and this is how it will look once joined. So now you want to go ahead and join it, so you have 2 panels of 3 by 3 granny squares, and then join them together in a bag. So I have now joined my granny squares into a bag, 2 panels together. There's the opening, and I also did this outline around the face itself, and you can do this too if you want to, but now I will show you how to do the handle part. So you want to grab your bag and insert your hook into that first stitch here, or you can do it on this side as well. But what we're gonna do for the first round, we will just basically do single crochets all around, and you should have 90 stitches. Don't worry if you have more, because you might need sometimes insert extra stitches where we have joined our granny squares. But once you've got your hook, just attach your yarn that you want to use, chain one to secure, and start with that same stitch by doing single crochets into every single stitch. When you go all around the opening, you will reach your very first single crochet you did. So to finish this round, you want to insert your hook into that first single crochet and do a slip stitch. Then chain 1, and we will do round 2, which is where the handle part starts. So we want to do 15 stitches up until here. So I'm just gonna single crochet 15 now. And then once you do that, you want to chain 70 or less if you want shorter handle. And then once you have your chain done, you can put it next to second granny square joined and kind of see if you like the length. I do like the length, so I'm just gonna go with it, skip 15 stitches and join it in the middle where we have those 2 granny squares. So I'll join it by making a slip stitch, and then I will continue with single crochet for next 30 stitches until I'm at the point here for the other side, and then 30 stitches, chain again the same length you did, join it here, and you will finish the round. So I'll meet you at the end there. And at the end, as always, we will be joining with our first single crochet of the round. If you're struggling to know which one it is, you can always pop in stitch marker when you do the first one, so you always know where to join. Chain 1, and then you can now see that we've got 2 chains for our handles. So this is where our handle will be basically just in the middle of the bag. And from now on, we will do 4 rounds. If you want, you can do less or more, depending on how thick your handles needs to be. But I'll do 4 rounds of single crochets going around, meaning I will do 15 stitches here, whatever amount I chained, then 30 again into the chain, and finish with the last 15. So you will have 60 stitches plus your chain twice, and each round will be the same. So basically, when you reach your chain, you will be crocheting in a chain instead of the bag opening from now on. So let me just do those 15 single crochets. And this is where my chain starts. So you want to do single crochet in that last spot, and then into the first chain here. So grab a loop and make a single crochet like you normally would, and just continue till you reach the end of your chain, and I'll meet you here. And when you do finish going into all chains for your handle, then you will simply just continue with single crochets in the next stitch. So just keep doing that for as many rounds as you want, and I'll meet you at the end. At the end of my row, I'm just gonna slip stitch it with my first single crochet as normal, and then I will chain 1 to finish that off. I can cut my yarn off, leaving a bit for hiding the tail into the stitch, but this is how it should look after 4 rounds. And I think it's thick enough, but you can always make more rows. And this is how it should look after you hidden all the tails and added lining in. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you in my next tutorials.